Hi, Phil Conrad here for Computer Science 156. We have been working through all of the issues on the Kanban board, but one thing we have neglected to do is talk about doing code reviews and merging our fellow team members' work. And you can see there's a lot of work piling up here in the in review. So I want to talk about how we go about addressing that. Now, the in review here, these are the issues that are in review. And there's a PR that needs a review, but each of these, hopefully, we can hope, links to the PR that needs to be reviewed. So we see here, this is issue number 47. That's the table component for help request plus tests. This is issue number 48, copying the placeholders. And this is creating the page for help request, index page for help request. I believe that this is the oldest one. So let's take a look at this one, table component for help request. And we see that it was done by Division 7, our teammate. And there is indeed a pull request for it. And here is that pull request. Now, if I look at this, I see that the files changed include a bunch of back-end code. And my guess is that those changes have already been merged in a prior pull request into the main branch. So what we need to do is, before we actually even code review this, we want to rebase this on main. And let me show you how you do that. Now, this is a little bit, you want to be a little bit careful with this. It might actually be better to reach out to your teammate and invite them to do the rebase on main. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and do it. But again, you want to be extraordinarily careful. It's probably better to reach out to, in this case, I would be reaching out to my teammate Daniel to invite him to rebase it on main. But you'll see that it's going to make it a lot easier to code review. So what happened here is Daniel, it says merge after 72, but we see that 72 has already been merged. And as a result, we have some file changes in here for changes that really are already in main. So it's going to simplify the review of this a lot if we rebase it on main. So here's how we do it. First of all, I'm going to get this branch here, and I'm going to check out that branch. And the first thing I want to do actually is do a get fetch origin to update all my branch pointers, get all the branches that I may not know about. So you can see Janil, Hongrui, these are some branches that my team members have been working on. Now I'm going to get checkout DJ help request table. I'm going to get pull origin DJ help request table to make sure that I have all of the latest changes on that branch. Now I'm going to get pull minus rebase origin main. What this does is it takes all of the code, all of the changes that are in Daniel's branch here, picks them up and moves them to the end of the current main. Now it's been successfully rebased. So now I want to get push origin DJ help request table. But if I simply do it that way, it's going to reject it because I have picked up those commits and moved them to a different place in the tree. So I have to do this with a force push. And this is why you want to be very careful, because you're actually affecting your teammate's branch. So you want to be very careful that you're doing it properly. If you're new to this, it's probably better to have them do it instead. But now that we have done it, let's come back over here. This was 11 files changed. If I refresh the page, it's now 5 files changed, which is going to be much easier to code review. All of the backend stuff was already code reviewed and merged in another pull request. We do not need to code review it again. Now I'm only looking at the changes that are the new stuff in this particular pull request. And what is this pull request about? It's the help request table and tests. And that's what I would expect to see here, the help request table. The utils typically go along with the table. The stories go along with the table. The help request tests go along with the help request table. And the help request utils go along with the help request utils. This is now a coherent pull request that only has the changes that impact this particular story, this particular issue that is about adding the help request table. So it's a lot easier to review. So what does a code review look like? Well, I'm looking through here and I'm looking to say, does this look reasonable? Um, I'm looking, especially like these comments. This actually is pretty reasonable. These all look good to me. This looks similar to the work that I've done in creating a table. So I'm just sort of looking through here. Um, Help request table. Here are the tests. Again, these look reasonable. If I found commented out code, I would definitely want to call that out as something that's a problem, but I'm not seeing any commented out code. This all looks quite good. So I look through all of this. I don't see any obvious problems. And I'm going to come up here to review changes, and I'm going to say, click approve and write LGTM, which is short for looks good to me. Submit the review. And since all the checks have passed, I'm going to go ahead and merge this pull request. And it's nice when you do that to let your team know. So I will go on the Slack channel and I will go to my team here and say, Daniel, I merged your pull request. Now, I might look and say, all right, well, what's the next pull request after that one? The oldest pull request on here is number 74, adding the help request placeholders. So, and this one says merge after 71. 71 is the one I just merged. Notice this one, like the other one, has all of these files from the back end. So you guessed it, we're going to do the same thing again. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to get check out the branch. I'm going to get pull origin on the branch. I'm going to get pull minus rebase origin main. Then I'm going to get push origin his branch minus F. And once I do that, instead of 14 files changed, it's 8 files changed. And what are those files? The ones we'd expect. I see app.js, app navbar, the help request, help create page, edit page, and index page, and the tests for those pages. That, oops, sorry, get that out of the way. That is much easier to code review now that we've gotten rid of all the unrelated changes. So I will scroll through here. I see that in app.js, we have imported the 3 placeholder pages. We now, if you haven't gotten this far in the project yet, this won't make a lot of sense to you, but I'm familiar with this. We haven't gotten to this video yet, but this is exactly what someone is supposed to do. They're supposed to add these into app.js so that there is a route for them. Help request goes to the help request index page. Help request edit with the ID of the row in the database goes to help request edit page. Help request create goes to help request create page. We've added this to the nav bar, the drop down menu for, or actually just a link to the help request page. And then we have this these placeholders, create page, edit page, and index page with links to create and edit. And then here are our tests for those pages. These are sort of placeholder tests for the tests for the placeholder pages. We'll replace those with real tests once we have the real pages implemented. But that all looks good to me. So I'll come over here and say approve. Looks good to me. Submit review. Now, when you rebase, it does run through all the GitHub actions again. So this is not green on CI just yet. And I do see that there's this UI review comparing 38 stories. So let's click on details and see what happens. And it appears that we might need to do some approval here. Okay, so it is still running 38 tests here, I suppose. Um, if we click View PR on GitHub, it takes us right back over here. Let's see UI review. I think that what we might need to do here, because this is sort of getting hung up. All right, all UI checks packed, you're ready to merge. Review now, approve PR yourself. Yeah. All right. So that looks like that may have taken care of this. Let's come back to the pull request on GitHub. Did that take care of that one? Ah, yes, all checks have passed. So we are now ready to merge this pull request. We will merge it. And let's keep going. Now, this next one, create fixtures for recommendation requests. We see it has a red X. So we're not even going to review it. If it has a red X, you need to wait for the programmer to fix that. This one, however, create the help request index page, number 76. It looks like this one. It says to closes 50, close after 74. I think he meant to say merge after 74. And indeed, 74 is merged. So we can do the same thing with this one. We're going to copy this. We're going to come over here. We're going to get checkout on the branch. We're going to get pull origin on the branch. We're going to get pull minus rebase origin main. And let's see. Okay, good. So we have skip previously applied commit. That's just saying that, yep, some of the commits were already in the main branch. We don't need those anymore. So now we can get push origin, that branch name, minus F. Sometimes you'll get merge conflicts, and if so, you have to resolve those, or you have to abort the rebase. And it will walk you through how you do that. But typically that is, you don't get those, except sometimes in the app.js file, when different people are adding different things into the menu, that's sometimes a place where you can get merge conflicts. We went from 20 files changed to 3 files changed. So you can see the value of doing these rebases before you do your code review. So, and let's see what Daniel says he's doing. Replace the placeholder values in help request index page with actual code. Request all the help requests from the back end, displays them in the help request table component. This looks great. And we could actually go on Doku and test it out. So let's see. Now that link goes right to help request. We actually have to log in first, or that link won't work. So I will log in. And now under help request, you can see that the page actually has the index page. And if I click edit, edit page is not yet implemented. But if I click delete, delete is implemented. Create is also not implemented. So if I want something to show up in the table, I have to go into Swagger. And so I would go into help request and do a post and request your email, phdcon@ucsp.edu, team ID 123, 123, request time 2024, 12/31, T 12:00. Explanation, I need help with merging PRs. And is it solved? False. Execute. Do I have one in there now? I do. So now if I go back to my home page and back to help request, you can see it is in the table. So it looks like it works. And if I go back to the pull request, that is this one, creating the help request index page. All looks good. Let's look at the code. Code looks good here. Now, one of the things that I see here is these imports that are using relative paths instead of absolute paths. We typically do try to avoid that. I wonder if this should be an absolute absolute path instead of a relative path. We typically try to avoid relative paths in our code bases. So see how I did that? And I will click add single comment. If there's a line that you want to make a comment on, and I say same here, relative path. Now I can do add single comment or I can do start a review. Pretty much does the same thing. But now you see this is pending and I can decide that I really want to call this to Daniel's attention and ask him to fix it before I approve the PR, or I can just make it as a suggestion. I'm going to continue going through here, looking to see if I see anything that I want to call out. So far, I'm pretty happy with this. So I'm going to come in here and say approve, say I did see a few places where I wonder if we should be using an absolute path for the import instead of a relative path, but otherwise looks good to me. If I did want to phrase this as you really should fix that, or let's have a conversation about that at least before you merge it, before I merge it, I would click request changes instead. I'm going to go ahead and say approve, submit the review. Daniel will get a notification about this, but all the checks have passed, so I'm going to go ahead and merge the pull request. All right, we've been through 3 code reviews now. We've done a rebase on main each time, and you've seen how that takes the number of files changed and reduces it, because when we're doing a branch off a branch off a branch, the changes accumulate. But if previous PRs, previous branches have already been merged into main, rebasing on main takes those changes and says they're not a part of this pull request anymore. Those are already in the main branch. So it simplifies our code review greatly. We're not reviewing the same changes over and over again. So hope that was helpful in explaining how to go about doing some of these code reviews and getting your team's PRs merged into main. Thanks for watching. We will now, for the next video, I'll go back to working on the actual issues. And I think the next issue that we're going to solve is putting the table component into the code base. So until then, keep on plugging away, and we'll see you again soon.